Well, we're at Hango Hill. It's the 2nd of January, of course, a big event. Mark, you had some very poignant words to say, shall we say, today. In fact, you had to stop yourself at one stage. You said you were going to get into a rant. You're not happy with things still.
No, the tax policies which we have always opposed and the incentives for the exploitation of the island simply as a finance sector have all come to nothing. 30 years of this out of control development, and the only response that our government under Alan Bell can make is to make it charge poor people more and rich people less. I mean, this is the politics of the insane asylum. It is completely mad. Yes, I did have to stop myself.
What would you do though?
Well, we've always said if you jump out of the aeroplane without a parachute, it's no good coming to the person who said don't do it afterwards and saying what should I do. You're going to hit the ground. We've said all along, don't do this. What we would have done from the start is, yes, we can have finance industries and whatnot, but we've always, a plank of our policy has always been diversification and putting the Manx people first. A fair, equitable tax structure, instead of saying to people who are extremely wealthy, we won't tax you, and put the burden of taxation onto the poor who you can't tax anyway, because we'll just either run out of money or go. And I do sometimes wonder if that is actually the objective of the government, to drive out people who they don't think are sufficiently wealthy for their needs.
Okay. Bernie, you had a swipe as well.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think my comment was fairly humorous. I made the point that politicians and journalists are probably two of the least like professions.
Thanks.
And I said I do qualify that with exceptions, of course. Your good self, and of course that pillar of the journalistic establishment, Terry Kringle, would have to be outside of that generalism. But it was a tongue-in-cheek thing. What I was trying to demonstrate was that the politicians of today owe a great deal to Illiam Dhone. We wouldn't have the island that we have, the independence that we have, if that situation hadn't have occurred in the 1600s. And indeed that point was re-emphasised by Alistair Neil in his comments as well. In relation to journalists, I was tongue-in-cheek, because I was saying that without the Illiam Dhone commemoration, which has been going on for the last 40 or 50 years, you wouldn't have good copy for the 10 dead days after Christmas. So I was very pleased with the commemoration today. There was a good turnout. There was a good mix of speakers. I was particularly pleased that we had César Jochen delivering a very hefty Manx oration, because to me he's the future for the island. People like him, and then of course Tom Collister, whose name I got wrong, laying the wreath.
Oh, right.
As well. These young people are the future of the island, and I thought the commemoration today was very commendable. There was some good and mixed hard-hitting points. I think there was criticism of the government, but there was a good overall appraisal of where we're at in the Celtic countries as well.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it there. By the way, we put up everything, so the full text that you were all talking will be available on MTTV in Manx and English, the whole thing. We don't have to edit, so this is one place you will find the full story. But are you pleased? You are pleased to turn out here today, also, yes?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I didn't count the numbers. There were probably about 140 people, which by the time it's cycled out by Isle of Man today and Manx Radio will have been cut by a third conservatively. But as I say, it's a good mix, and I was very impressed. I mean, I can't stress this too strongly. Probably because César was speaking and Tom was laying the wreath. We had a good turnout of young people as well, and of course that is the future for nationalism and cultural development in the island.
And I've got maybe ask you both. I mean, we're kind of getting nearer and nearer to another election. Do you see yourselves putting yourselves forward in that sense in the political arena?
Personally, no, because everybody who I've seen go in to change things from the outside has been changed. poachers turning gamekeepers. So I don't see that as a role for me at all.
There's Mr. Skelly here today, by the way, amongst the crowd. I noticed. I don't know if there's any others, but you.
I've seen Lawrence. Yes, I mean he's been a regular attender. We have had other politicians in the past, and we always say yes, do turn up. You know, we will engage with it. I'm not going to throw tomatoes at them.
To have them as speakers. We've had Philip Gorn and Bill Henderson as speakers on a number of occasions. Now, Mark's thrown his hat in the ring before,
Yeah,
but
I know that's what I was
certainly one of the problems for Mec Vannin is that since the 80s it's been a Republican Party, and therefore it has an abstentionist policy. It couldn't take an oath of allegiance to the Crown anyway, and my hair is probably too grey for it anyway.